if you don't select the, in first case, if you have some problem, so it is very much, depressing for you. So you cannot go ahead with more cases. So I'll now talk about some of the basic steps of dissect. So we have case selection. So there are certain prerequisites for the donor cornea also. It used to preferable a younger donor, less than 70 years, and an endothelial cell count must be more than 2,500. So eye bank with good specular microscopy report or donor cornea if you are getting from other places. So a specular report is also important, and there must be a scleral rim 2 mm on equally on 360 degree. So overall diameter must be around 15 to 15.5 millimeter because our cornea is sometimes smaller. So overall diameter is a better indicator so that you can mount over the artificial anterior chamber. And it is always better to keep a second standby optical quality tissue in your hand for first few cases. So you will always have confidence that if you go something wrong, you have a second optical tissue in your hand. And recipient preparation, like prepare your patient before surgery, like our cataract surgery. We used to give some antibiotic drop. Pilocarpine, many people, like PBK, plain PBK cases, you can use pilocarpine, but some surgeon used to dilate the pupil because they, with the retro illumination, if you have a relatively better cornea, so you can have glow and you can have very good desmetorexis. And dilate for all combined cases, povidone-iodine, antisepsis, and routinely we do under peribulbar anesthesia. So this is the special instrument. This is one of the very easy artificial anterior chamber. It is not that costly. You can use it repeatedly. And this fixed blade of 400 or 450 micron blade, or if you have number 11 blade, that is sufficient. You have certain markers of 8, 8.5 or 9. Special lamellar dissector, it is available plenty now. Many instrument companies are making it. Reverse Sinskey hook, Uterata forceps, because Uterata forceps has a gap at the back part of the forceps, and viscoelastic agent, if you want to use it, it is sodium hyaluronate. Our cornea again, less size is 8 millimeter is the ideal. Very rarely we get to chance of 8.5, but if you have just measure the corneal diameter, and you should have working space of 1 millimeter on either side, because you have to play with SS and AR at the end of your donor insertion. So that is very important. Otherwise there is formation of pus and you will have a problem in the later. And if you do not have like 7.5, 8, so you can take a midpoint, so you can give little more to the patient. So sometimes you need to take 7.75 or 8.25. These are, you can take this. Then this is the donor artificial anterior chamber, and it has various parts. Though I do not have any financial interest, this is going good. And you see that the dissection is not difficult. You have to mount the cornea over the artificial anterior chamber, and that is the well. You fill the well with small amount of DSS and sodium hyaluronate. It is a mixture of both fluids so that it could coat the endothelium during the dissection. It should not dry off, because sometimes in the beginning you need a lot of time. So you just fix the cornea and then tighten the anterior chamber and make it optimum IOP. So you can see that the pressure should not be too high or not too low, so that your blade should go. This is 500 micron blade. So give a peripheral cut of 500 fixed blade. This is MK medium, but if you use Cornisol preserve, you have to be very careful. It is better to go with 400 or 450 micron blade, because Cornisol preserve cornea is thinner by at least 50 micron. So you use your dissector. This is normal, your crescent knife. With this crescent knife you can go up to the middle, or you can cross the middle of the cornea. Then with the another kind of dissector, it is the lamellar dissector. So you go up to the periphery, touching the limbus, and go all around 360 degree, so that your dissection should be complete. And before take it out, you must release the pinch cock so that there should not be any problem of deformation of the anterior chamber. So you shift this dissected cornea over the Teflon block. Then coming to the recipient preparation, different kind of recipient. So you have to be very careful which the visibility must be good. So if you do not have very good visibility, you have to peel up the epithelium. Like in the left hand side, you see that when you peel up this edematous epithelium, it is very loose. You can take it out and so you can have better visibility and you can properly come to the the dissection part proper. Next part is marking. So you have several template marking. So it is always better to mark so that you can see what is the clear zone at the periphery. So I always go with sclerocorneal tunnel. It is very convenient for me, and I don't put suture in most of the time. It is just like doing a sclerocorneal tunnel incision as we do in SICS. But if it is a very early case, try to open up the previous opening of previous cataract surgeon. And sometimes in repeat cases, you may need to put some suture before giving air tamponade. That is very important. I think Dr. Tony will show you some of the videos that if you don't put suture, what will happen. So, Tony, please welcome to this IC and have your seats there. And recipient side port is same as like we do in our phaco incision, 2 side port on either side, but the internal side of the side port should match with your template mark, so that you should not hit the edge of the button while you are injecting AR or BSS. Next is recipient dissection. As I said earlier, if you have a dilated pupil and the visibility is good, you can do it very easily. Descemet coring is the most easy part, except 1 or 2 indication, like in shed congenital hereditary dystrophy. It is very difficult, and sometimes you cannot do it even. So you can see even at the dilated and retroillumination, you can see this scoring very nicely. And once you have finished all side, you just take it out and check that whether it dissection. Sometimes you can give Trifon blue. Trifon blue stains the disease on all in the endothelium. So your visibility is much better when you dissect with. You see that when you are removing this diseased endothelium, you see that your clarity has much more than before. So you remove this. This is the easier part. Then you have other ways of doing it, like if you are combining with your phaco. Sometimes I use it, so irrigation port is on, so you are not using any viscoelastic in this situation, so you can easily take it out with the same reverse Sinskey, or you can aspirate with your aspiration port. And sometimes with air you can also nicely be visible. So in presence of air, there are several ways you can do this. Here the visibility is highest. I mean, you can do it so nicely. Then each and every steps you would appreciate that dissection. So you use both the sides for scoring. Then you see that you just remove that. These are easy in cases of Fuchs dystrophy, where the Descemet is diseased, also endothelium is diseased. So you can take out so easily. Then anterior chamber management, there are a lot of things to do in the anterior chamber, especially if there is any adhesion, you clear it, make the pupil smaller and circular before donor insertion. PI is not mandatory in all cases. A thorough AC wash with BSS is mandatory. to remove your viscoelastic completely. Some people use your AC maintainer, so you don't need actually viscoelastics, and reform AC. And general vitrectomy is required if there is any vitreous, and if you put triamcinolone or acetonide, you could do better vitrectomy. So surface cleaning is also important, because sometimes lot of peripheral vascularization, it bleeds. So you do not take the clot along with your donor. So cleaning the clots and cleaning the viscoelastic from the surface before insertion of the lenticule is also important. Next is donor insertion. Donor insertion, I use this Taco technique most of the time. I also use, what is that? This is 60-40 ratio, so 60% anterior and 40 posterior. So my assistant used to hold the anterior part, and whenever I am ready, I take the whole thing in on the ocular surface, so that the donor damage is minimum. So after putting the thing inside the anterior chamber, you inflate the anterior chamber with BSS. Then from the side port, from the other port, so there is a formation of angle, and from the other side port you go behind the anterior one and just open it. It unfolds very nicely, and once it has been unfolded, you just make it center with your any kind of round or solid. So centering is also not so difficult. You just make a massage from various direction, so make it a perfect central, so that you have a beautiful golden ring all along, and then that is the clue that your iris is not adhered to your peripheral button, especially with smaller cornea or like your eye syndrome. These are the difficult thing. So when it is finished, you are assured, so you increase the pressure and keep the thing for 10 minutes. And you can also use 30 gauge needle. So many people are using 30 gauge. Somebody is with sheet glide, somebody without sheet glide. I fold the tissue again in 60-40 direction without using any sheet glides. I use a 26 or 30 gauge needle. Just go inside in. So your S mark, S for stroma, so S should be visible. So again you inflate. When you are in, so you just unfold the tissue. So, and again you can you go for centering. So centering can be done with a side port needle. You are playing on the surface also. So there are many ways of centering it, whichever way you are, it is preferable to you, case to case basis, without damaging the endothelium. Then after 10 to 12 minutes, you keep the lights on, talk a lot about your post-operative things, and for next 4 to 6 hours what patient should do, and replace the air with BSS. And this amount of bubble, what usually that it should be above the level of pupil, so that there should not be any kind of pupillary block. So that is very important while you are replacing the BSS with air. Then some of the early cases, the cases selection, if your case selections are good, so early cases also did well. And if your previous surgery was good, so your expected results are always good. But sometimes you are confused whether it is a case of subepithelial scarring or epithelial hypertrophy. So with time you will able to see that most of the subepithelial scarring, what you thought before, probably it is not there, and they do well later with time. Like this case is a beautiful phaco done by some of our colleagues, and you see that even with 6 weeks post-op, patient has regained 6/9 vision. These are some of the cases where post-PK failed graft. So there are a lot of indication, and recently we have, this is a group of people we are doing nowadays. Like this case is one-eyed bat fungal corneal ulcer. We had to do a large therapeutic graft in this patient, and we knew that this graft will fail, and after that graft failed, after 3 or 4 months, we did dissect in this, and the patient dissect with IOL, and this patient is doing fine over a period of last 1.5 years. So this is an expanding indication of DSEK nowadays. Then ACIOL, you may keep it, or if you are a very good excellent surgeon, you can change it with scleral fixation depending upon the mobility of the ACIOL in the anterior chamber. Then sometimes we see that a lot of people still practices PCIOL putting in AC, and again you can keep it or you can remove it depending upon what is your anterior chamber depth and mobility of the IOL. So another two main indication, as I said, as it was said earlier, so Fuchs dystrophy in cataract is another indication. So initially we used to do classical triple procedure, but because of these advancements of these Fuchs cases, we could do phaco or combined SICS with the DSEK in this. Like in the lower row, it is very difficult to do phaco in these cases, but upper row you can do fairly well good phaco in these cases. Like this is the cases where the patient underwent that phaco with the DSEK. And this is another case with phaco with the DSEK. You see that there is no difficulty of doing phaco in these cases. But like this patient, when presented to me, you see the peripheral vascularization and thick epithelial hypertrophy with lot of those. We are in doubt that whether it will go for or not. But I tried in this case, this is the other eye of this patient. I tried this case, and this patient actually did well during, this patient we did SICS, and you see that after 12 weeks post-op, this patient still doing well. This is probably 6 years follow-up now and doing very good with 6/9 vision. So some of the bad cases we take for this SICS combination, these are very bad cases. It's very difficult to do DSEK in these cases. phaco in these cases. So he could take up for this. So the DSEK patient is much more happier and comfortable when they compare with the other eye, especially some patient maybe 8 years back. This is the one patient you see that the complication, all the complication of K you will see in the other eye. This is the another patient. So all the patients, they are much more comfortable, happy if they unaided visual acuity. And if you see the astigmatic pattern, they are regular astigmatism and very little astigmatism with DSEK patient. So I'll completing my second part. So I have compared this outcome of manual DSEK. This is about 6 years, 6.5. And you see that bullous keratopathy is the commonest indication. Fuchs, we have 25% of Fuchs dystrophy. And we take the cases where the visual acuity is actually less than 660, but 74% of our patient gained 20/40 or better vision after 3 months. And our outcome analysis, that if you compare the pupillary block glaucoma, secondary glaucoma, graft rejection is less in my series compared to Western world, and the secondary glaucoma is higher than compared to other group, probably because of we have more anterior angle closure glaucoma. It is comparable. And if you see the endothelial cell loss actually with experience it can be come down, and so 5 years endothelial cell loss is around 55%. And if we compare this with the other prices series, that it is almost going at par, and it is better than PKP from cornea donor study. So this is the endothelial cell survivable, and I am showing some of the interesting picture. This patient lost in follow-up after 5 years. She came, and you see the endothelial cell count in both that and corneal thickness. This is after 3 months, and this is after 5 years. And you see the thickness has reduced. So with this I'll end my talk, and I'll call upon Dr. Titial to give his presentation on the different techniques of insertion, donor insertion.